Hi! Today we're going to talk about learning a foreign language in Colombia and in Japan. My name is Valentina Chavez.
And my name is Luna Fernandez.
Let's start.
Colombia received many accolades when it comes to global rankings, best of lists, or travel reviews. But when it comes to English proficiency, the country fails the grade. According to the 2020 results of the annual EF English Proficiency Index, Colombia ranks very low and among the worst performing nations in South America. The index surveyed 100 nations, with Colombia placing 77. The low proficiency placement is also an indicator that Colombia continues to lose competitiveness in the global jobs market.
Learning a foreign language like English in Colombia is a challenging work. Let's start talking about people who want to learn the language but they don't succeed at it for multiple reasons, like shyness. People usually don't like to speak the language because they are afraid of making mistakes or they don't even try. So it is useless if they get it but they never actually practice it or speak it.
Besides, lack of time. It is the most common mistake here in the country. People are interested in understanding it. Regardless, they seldomly spend 9 hours per week to actually begin to learn the language. So in that way, it's impossible to acquire English. Knowledge is a process, and here in Colombia, people seem not to have the right motivation to actually become bilingual.
After all, that is why the most difficult skill to learn here in Colombia is speaking. As you know, speaking a second language enables people to interact, as it is the most important skill. It is very difficult to acquire it, since textbooks or copies focus more on writing exercise. In the English class, students interact with each other and practice their knowledge with materials like recordings, basic conversations, role plays. But when class is over, the second language is not spoken anymore. This is due to the lack of immersion that they have in their daily lives, which means music, games, and television. It is in their native language, so they cannot practice out of the classrooms by themselves. It is necessary to teach and reinforce speaking ability. It's not a secret that in order to be clear, understand, and produce, it is necessary to have listening skills developed to be able to understand and have a successful conversation.
As a matter of fact, the National Ministry of Education even doesn't evaluate this ability in the ICFES test presented every year by senior students. For this reason, English classes focus more on learning vocabulary and basic grammar. In middle or high school, teachers only focus on teaching grammar and tenses, but they forget to actually make sense of what they teach and the connection with the world outside of their school's bubble.
Good morning! Welcome to another episode of Valentina's show. Today we are going to interview Dante, who is a Tokyo-based teacher and storyteller. So let's start. Welcome, Dante. So today we are going to talk about how is to learn a foreign language in Japan, especially English. So I will ask you a few questions and you just tell me what you think according to your experience or your points of view. Okay. So I was wondering, what kind of method do you use or implement in your classes?
My classes are developed through two lenses. First, the grammar point that I want my students to learn, and secondly, how that point is used in a common or in a real life situation or conversation.
Okay, so what kind of activities do you think that work best for your students?
I will say no activity works best. To create like a well-rounded understanding of the language, it is important to encompass an output and an input. So sometimes my students are required to give systematic answers, and other times they can be more creative about them.
And what materials or resources do you use for your classes?
Well, textbooks, digital textbooks too, iPads, TVs, occasionally use outside media too, like YouTube and Netflix.
How your students practice the four skills of the language, like reading, writing, speaking, and listening?
Well, reading and writing are content-based, and listening is like required in class because they are developed 70% in English. And speaking, well, students are required to use English at least 60% of the time in the class.
Well, interesting. Now, which one of the English skills do you consider that is their strongest skill?
I will say listening, followed by reading.
How students assume that process of learning a new language in Japan?
Some students treat it like you will treat, science or math class, and some others are more enthusiastic about it.
Okay, so finally, in general words, how would you describe that process of learning in Japan?
A despair between high and low income areas because, most of the great English programs use foreign English teachers, which cost extra money. Not using them reduces the chances a student can have in a real life situation or have a conversation with a native speaker.
That's all for today. Thank you for your kindness and for participating today in the show. We are so grateful to get to know more about that Japanese process of learning, an foreign one like English. So, thank you. We will see you sometime.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
I got my head out the sunroof. I'm blasting our favorite tunes. I only got
Japan is a very developed country and it is worldwide recognized mostly because of its culture. But what about education? Specifically, language learning. To the EF English Proficiency Index, in 2021, Japan is ranked 78 and is classified as a low proficiency country. First of all, people in Japan normally see English as another subject at school. They are required to study, but not something they learn because they really need or want to. Japan has always been an independent nation where English proficiency is barely needed. In addition, too many Japanese are fearful about not being perfect. Classes are developed with the grammar translation method, so even if they count with spaces to develop the four skills, they prioritize grammar and writing. It is because to get into a university in Japan, where English part consists in translating text from English into Japanese and Japanese into English. That is one of the reasons Japanese students' biggest difficulty is production and communication ability. Additionally, classes are normally very passive and students' participation is very rare. The teacher is the one who speaks and asks most of the time. Classes are mostly conducted in Japanese, especially at lower levels. Either because teachers' English level is not advanced or just because they think it is the best way to conduct the grammar explanation. Japanese and English don't have the same alphabet, and there are fewer words in Japanese than in English.
Finally, the materials used contribute to the development of students' ability with writing, reading, grammar, and vocabulary. But production is not as emphasized in Japanese English books. Besides, oral production exercises are always at the end of the lesson, and because of lack of time, teachers can explore them deeply.
Silence, please. Good morning, guys. Today we will continue practicing in our book American English 5, Unit 4B, Past Simple, okay? So, tell me, what did you do yesterday? Okay, so first Luna, then Julian, and last Paula. So tell me, Luna, what interesting things did you do yesterday?
Yesterday I went to the university and then I did my, ¿cómo se llama eso? Como hacer ejercicio, como hacer pesas,
Workout.
workout. I did my workout and then I went with my dad and we had a meal and then we went home y ya. Ya.
Okay, so Julian?
So I spent most of the time at home. I did some research for a personal project. I ate rice and pasta, and I slept the whole afternoon.
Okay, nice job, thank you. Paula?
Yeah, sorry, but I don't know what I don't know what to say. No entiendo bien el tema ni cómo conjugar los verbos.
Ok, no te preocupes, cualquier cosa yo te corrijo y pues de igual forma ahí en el libro tienen la unidad y la gramática, pues solo lean y se la aprenden y ya.
Okay. I watch some television and drink some juice and eat pizza with mom.
Okay, remember to put verbs in past. So watched, ate, and drank. Okay, so thank you for your participation. Y recuerden que mañana tenemos examen. Así que por favor hagan la tarea porque la nota vale el 40%. Así que si pierden, pues ya saben. Así que quedan advertidos. ¿Listo? Bye.
Ohio! Welcome back to another class with Luna Sensei. Today we are going to work with this material and it is related to simple past. You guys remember? Simple past. So you three are going to work together and you can find it in this book, which is Language and Our World, okay? So there you have one question, which is, what did you do yesterday? And you have 2 minutes to answer it and then we'll share it, okay? Do you guys need help?
Yes. One question. Yeah.
Okay, time's up. So, what did you do yesterday? You.
I studied and I practiced violin.
Oh, so you play the violin. You play the violin.
Oh, yes.
Yes? Okay, nice. Thank you. Very good. Okay, now you.
I did my homework and I studied for my finals.
Okay, very good. Very good. Thank you. Okay, who's next? Oh, what about you?
Me?
You.
I studied for finals and I read manga.
What manga did you read? What manga?
Inuyasha.
Okay, thank you. Okay, guys, so go to page 13 and you are going to translate the story there from English into Japanese, okay? You'll have 5 minutes. Arigatou gozaimashita.
English classes in Japan and in Colombia are very similar in terms of structure. The main difference is that in Japan, people don't want to become bilingual because they don't need language to succeed in life, since their country is able to bring them quality jobs and good living conditions. In addition, English is way too complicated for them because its variety of sound and the difference between its alphabet and logographic kanji and syllabic kana. which is the modern Japanese writing
I
system.
mean, we as future English teachers must get worried about English low proficiency levels in Colombia and start to act towards achieving bilingual students who can provide better job opportunities to future generations. Regarding this goal, we can start by emerging and implementing English in our lives as a future possibility to get what we deserve in life. An up to the mark job that let us change the perception of learning a new language, especially if it is worldwide spoken and life changing. Thank you.
Thank you.